Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and all of our honored guests. I love poop. It is perhaps my favorite topic of conversation. It's not unusual, in fact, for most discussions that I have with people to end up in me asking them about their bowel movements. My husband is a much more private person than I am, so you can imagine that every time the topic turns to somebody's bowel habits, he rolls his eyes and sighs that once again his wife is going to talk about food. But as a dietitian, I am very interested in people's bowel habits because they are a really good indicator about health. I mean, if we don't talk about humans for a second, just think about a dog. If you have a pet dog, if you know somebody who has a pet dog, they take their dog out for a walk multiple times a day, and they expect them to poop pretty much every time they're out there. And if they don't, there's a problem, because it is normal for these animals to poop on a regular basis. The fact of the matter is that it should be the same for us. But we have come to accept that it's normal to only move our bowels every 2 days, 3 days, maybe even once a week. So I would like to explain to you why it's so important that we have regular bowel movements, and to give you 4 suggestions about things you can do if you're perhaps not moving your bowels as regularly or as effectively as you would like to. So the first thing to consider is that the body has 4 pathways by which it can get rid of waste and toxins. That is urine, feces, your breath, and sweat. Now, we all breathe every minute of every day, and we all urinate multiple times a day. And I'm sure you've heard somebody say that you should break a sweat once a day, right? That that's healthy. And the fact is we need to move our bowels at least once a day in order to effectively utilize this elimination pathway that our body has to get rid of toxins. Because if we don't, there are side effects. The first one to consider is that you're essentially holding waste within your large intestine. And that has a very negative impact on the gut bugs that live there. I mean, just imagine these friendly bacteria that are hanging out in your intestines are essentially swimming in sewage if you don't move your bowels on a regular basis. The second thing is that your large intestine can actually absorb things back into your body. So if it sits there for too long, you can actually reabsorb toxins back into your body that your body has put into your intestines with the intention of getting rid of them. Constipation has been tied to lots of physical problems like urinary tract infections and hemorrhoids and even colorectal cancer. But the fourth impact of constipation that I actually find the most relevant for me on a regular basis is that it actually lowers our quality of life. Research has shown that if we don't poop on a regular basis, we are not as happy, which is true for me because I enjoy that light, clean feeling that comes after I have my daily bowel movement. So now that I've told you why this is so important and emphasized that you need to poop at least once a day, 2 or 3 times a day is also perfectly fine and perfectly natural. I'm going to give you 4 suggestions about how you can improve your bowel habits. The first one is to drink plenty of water. This is really important, especially if your poop is hard or small, pellet-like, difficult to push out. More water will help with that because your body, even though you drink water and it gets absorbed into your body actually sends water back into your intestines to help you have a bowel movement. So plenty of water. The second one is plenty of fiber, which you can get from fruits and vegetables and beans and legumes. So if you think about us as humans, right, our structure is bones covered in muscle, which is made of protein. But plants, the structure that holds a plant together is fiber. That peel on the apple is very fibrous. The peel on a potato, right, because they rely on that structure of fiber to help support their shape. So the more fruits and vegetables we eat, the more beans and legumes we eat, the more fiber we're getting in. And that helps it provides bulk into our stool as well as making it easier to pass. The third thing, if you continue to struggle with your bowel habits, is to consider giving up dairy. And this is one that surprises a lot of people. But for some people, casein, which is a protein in dairy, has an opioid-like effect in the intestines. If you've ever been on codeine or hydrocodone or one of the other opioid-type drugs, you'll know that constipation is a side effect. And that's because it causes the muscles of the intestines to just relax. They're not interested in pushing anything out. And casein actually has a similar effect for some people. And this is casein in all dairy, so milk, ice cream, yogurt, cheese. If you have trouble with it, giving up dairy for about 3 weeks will tell you whether or not it's having an impact on you. The fourth suggestion is to consider changing your position on the toilet. So this one is going to be a little funny, so I'm going to turn to the side. Turns out that just sitting is actually not the most effective position for having a bowel movement. You want this angle between your back and your leg to be smaller than 90 degrees. If you've ever seen or heard of the Squatty Potty, this is a new commercialized thing to make that happen. But there are ways you can do this on your own without buying an apparatus to use in your bathroom. While you're sitting there, you can literally just lean forward, right, to the point that your forearms are resting on your legs. Or you can do what I do, which is slide something under your feet. My bathroom scale is right there. It's only about 1.5 inches off the floor, but it's enough to change that angle in my back and to make it easier to pass. So I know that this isn't everybody's favorite topic. I know that people don't enjoy talking about poop as much as I do. But it's really important that we get to the point that we have trained our bodies to have a bowel movement every day if we want to be healthy. We need to clean out the waste. We need to give our bodies the most effective way to use that fourth elimination path for getting rid of those toxins. So I encourage you, increase your water intake, increase your fiber intake, consider giving up dairy if you need to, and think about maybe changing your position on the toilet a little bit so that you too can get that wonderful light, clean feeling that comes after a good bowel movement. Thank you.